Scraps of Time, 1960, Abby Takes a Stand. Chapter 12, Victory. The boycotts and sit-ins continued into spring. In April, a house was blown to bits with dynamite. It was the house of Mr. Luby, the lawyer helping the protesters. Luckily, neither he nor his wife were hurt. Right after that, a crowd of students marched to City Hall to see the mayor, Ben West. Abby and Mama watched it on TV. "John! I think I see John!" Abby jumped up and pointed at the screen. He was standing not far from a girl who went right up to the mayor and said, "Mr. Mayor, do you think it's fair that restaurants won't serve people just because the color of their skin?" Mayor West looked at all the faces in the large crowd in front of City Hall. "No," he finally said. "No, I don't." Mama's hand flew over her heart as if she couldn't believe the words she'd just heard. But sure enough, one by one, the stores began to serve black customers. All except Harvey's. Then finally, one Friday evening, John hopped the back fence and came charging into the kitchen. "We won!" John shouted. "Harvey's caved in!" He picked up Abby and danced her around the table. Mama smiled through happy tears. Wiping her eye with the corner of her apron, she said to Abby, "And tomorrow we're going to have lunch at the monkey cage." "Monkey bar, Mama," Abby said, laughing. "It's the monkey bar." But later, when she thought about it, Abby wasn't sure about going back to Harvey's. She called Patsy. "Suppose there's a crowd of people waiting to call us names," Abby said. "This time you'll be with your Mama," Patsy answered. "Come with me?" Abby begged. Not yet," Patsy said slowly. "Maybe another time." Abby understood how Patsy felt. Part of her was afraid to go too. But Mama said, what sense did it make to work hard to change things and then not go when the change came? Abby fretted about what to wear. She changed her mind 3 times. She wanted to look her best. That night she didn't sleep well. The next day when they arrived at Harvey's, sale signs were everywhere. There didn't seem to be as many customers as usual, and hardly any colored people. But Mama walked to the escalators as though she was on a mission, never lingering to look at a single item. At the monkey bar, Abby was surprised to see that the merry-go-round was gone. "We took it out," said a waitress as Mama sat on an orange stool at the counter. The waitress poured Mama a cup of coffee. Meanwhile, a man, not even sitting near Mama and Abby, looked at them and left before finishing his donut and coffee. "May I have your order?" the waitress said, without a smile. Abby didn't need to see the menu. "A lion burger, Savannah fries, and the Kilimanjaro shake." When the food came, Abby ate in silence. It was okay, but the strawberry shake wasn't half as good as the one at Mr. Ford's. Mama paid for their meal, and they left. Within an hour, they were back on the bus headed for home. So that was it? Abby looked at Mama, smiling to herself. A great big smile. Abby wondered why Mama looked so happy after eating such a dry hamburger. "One day you'll tell your grandchildren you were the first Negro child to eat at Harvey's Monkey Bar," said Mama. Then she handed her one of the Monkey Bar menus. "I wanted you to keep this. A lot of people, you included, worked hard and sacrificed to make it possible. Don't ever forget that." "Okay," Abby said, forcing a smile. Later that afternoon, she met Patsy at Mr. Ford's for a real strawberry milkshake. "After all that," Patsy said when Abby told her about the monkey bar, "you're telling me that burger was dry and the fries were hard?" "Right. I thought it was going to be better," Abby remembered what Mama had said. I don't think the sit-ins were about the food. I think they were about having choices. Page 93. Who would choose to pay good money for bad food? Patsy said. Abby laughed. I don't have to eat at the monkey bar ever again if I don't want to. But now it's up to me. The choice is mine. Another scrap of time. The author is flashing back to when Abby, or flashing forward to when Abby is all grown up. Gee, did your friend Patsy ever eat at the monkey bar? Aggie asked her grandmother. Yes, said G. She finally went one day with her mama. Then we went together. The food never got any better. When we wanted a good milkshake or a good cup of hot chocolate, we ate at Ford's. What happened to John? Asked Trey. Oh, John was very active in the movement, all through college and law school. After he and Terry got married, they went down to Mississippi and Louisiana. They helped register people to vote. He became a lawyer and Terry taught high school. They live in Detroit now. She reached down into the trunk. Here is a picture of them at the March on Washington back in August 1963. I know, said Aggie. That's where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made his I Have a Dream speech. The children studied the picture closely. Will they be at the family reunion this summer? I hope so, said G. She took in the trunk for other items from that time. Then you can ask them what it was like to be at the Lincoln Memorial with all those thousands of people, after over 250,000 people. Did Aunt Mitty and Uncle Big John ever change their minds? Trey asked. Not right away, said G, looking in the old trunk. Look, here is a JFK campaign button. What's that? Trey asked. JFK are the initials of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. He ran for president and won in 1960. He was young and he had a lot of good ideas. A lot of black people liked him and voted for him. They believed he'd help end segregation. Maddie Ray pinned the button on her blouse. What did he do? He never really got a chance to do everything he wanted because he was killed, assassinated, a few months after the March on Washington, November the 22nd, 1963. Page 98. Aggie held up a red and white school banner. This is your high school, right? G smiled and nodded. Pearl High School in Nashville. It was still segregated when I went there. Now, whites and blacks attend school together all over Nashville, including Pearl Cohen. G found her old library card, a Tennessee State yearbook, and 2 ticket stubs from the Paramount Theater. I remember when the Paramount first allowed African Americans to come in the front door. Before then, we had to use an alley door and go up to the balcony. Black people rarely went downtown to the movies. When Patsy and I bought these tickets, we went in the front door. Do you remember the movie? Aggie asked. Sure I do. Sure do. It was The Magnificent Seven, starring Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen. Ooh-wee! I like these scraps of time, said Maddie Ray. Let's put them in our big scrapbook for the family reunion. Look what I found, said Trey, holding up a military medal. G smiled. This is from a long, long time ago. It's something that belonged to my great-grandfather. He fought in the Civil War. Will you tell us about him? Yes, I promise to tell you that story the next time we're together. And that is the end of our story, Scraps of Time, 1960. Abby Takes a Stand. Thank you for reading with me.